And here's Dr. Maulana Karenga.
Habari gani? Jema hovini kwenu. Hotep. Ashe. Heading. What, could you flip to the last slide I have for the PowerPoint? I just want. Okay, good. I wanted to start off, as everyone has already, by paying homage to our brother who's made the transition, Nana Bafua, Dr. Asa Hilliard, in memoriam. And I wanted to say, to do that which is of value is forever. A person called forth by his work does not die, for his name is raised and remembered because of it. So says the sacred Hosea, the sacred teachings of ancient Egypt. And I wanted to do this memorial to him. If you could just scroll that down, sir or ma'am? Okay, good. And it says this, and I say this for him in memoriam. We share the loss with his family. May they be given courage, consolation, and peace. And may he, as we know, rise among the ancestors and be received among the righteous, the doers of good, and the rightfully rewarded. For surely it is written in the Hosea, the sacred text of ancient Egypt, that says, a glorious spirit in heaven, a continuing power on earth. These are the rewards of the righteous ones, and righteous are those who receive them. They should be counted among the ancestors. Their name shall endure as a monument, and what they've done on earth shall never perish or pass away. So it is with our brother Nana Bafua. Hotel. Now you could go back to the beginning. Please, thank you. One of the most interesting things about this is that we who are the fathers of and mothers of human civilization, we who stood up first and spoke the first human truth and taught the world what was good and beautiful, now find ourselves defending our own identity and our own achievements. It is very important for us, however, not to get stuck there. It is important to struggle against the falsification of history, but we must dismiss some things as frivolous. And so even though we defend ourselves against this falsification of history, we must not lose sight of the legacy that Egypt leaves us and the awesome burden this places on us to continue this pattern of excellence, of equating Africanness with excellence and raising images above the earth that reflect our capacity for human greatness and progress. We must really understand that Tut's coming back here, bringing a new controversy concerning his depiction by the promoters of the exhibition as a reborn white man, reconstructed out of a pseudoscience reminiscent of early European theories of superior races and differing human brain sizes, and thus different capacities for culture and civilization, is an ongoing effort of Europe to lift out our minds and replace it with their own conception of the world. And that conception is self-congratulatory. It makes them the creators of everything, including air. And so that when we breathe, we must give them deference. We must, in fact, realize that as a part of the ongoing attempt at the racial remaking of ancient Egypt, this new initiative can easily be called a forensic fantasy, born of the continuing need to de-Africanize ancient Egypt, counter Afrocentric contentions regarding the Africanness of Egypt, and reverse the gains Afrocentric scholars have made in correcting the historical record and creating a new discourse about ancient Egypt and Africa as a whole. It also speaks to the collaboration of the Egyptian government and Egyptian scholars with this falsification of King Tut's image and ancient Egyptian history. And this is due to their modern split identity as a nation of ancient Africans and of descendants of Arabs who arrived in Egypt in the 7th century. So they're struggling with an internal battle of how to define themselves, having come to Africa in the 7th century. But the controversy raises two interrelated issues. The first is how to respond effectively to the latest efforts to de-Africanize and Europeanize King Tutankhamen, and by extension, de-Africanize and Europeanize Egypt, its people, and its culture. The second issue, and this is the one I'm very much into, is how to avoid over-focusing on this problem and missing the opportunity to deepen our understanding and appreciation of the awesome legacy of this Africa's greatest civilization and the world's greatest civilization of antiquity. Regardless of the problematic character of the exhibition, it does serve several basic functions. First, it reaffirms the splendor, glory, and high level of achievement of ancient Egypt, and thus of ancient Africa and African people. Don't ever forget that. In the conversation about whether Tut is white or black, everybody knows that he's black. What is the debate about? Why are we getting off that and missing the splendor and glory of this Africa's greatest civilization? You have to ask yourself, is this not diversionary? Okay? Second, it offers us an excellent opportunity not only to deepen and expand our own understanding and appreciation of ancient Egypt's achievement, but also to initiate a discourse vital to the recovery and accurate reconceptualization of Egypt's legacy. Finally, the exhibition serves as a reminder of our responsibility to recover, reconstruct, and engage ancient Egyptian culture for the purposes set out by the Imhotepian scholar and Egyptologist, Dr. Sheikh Anta Diop. Diop stated that a recovered and reconstructed legacy of ancient Egypt will aid us in achieving three basic goals. One, to reconcile African and human history. Because African history, when human history is falsified, when African history is falsified, human history is falsified. Do you understand that? So we're going to reconcile African and human history. We must return Egypt to Africa. Second, Diop wanted us to do that so that we could build a new body of human sciences. He asked, what does Africa have to say about the modern issues that confront us? We must be able to do that. In that regard, I went back to school and got a second doctorate in ancient Egyptian ethical philosophy and social ethics, but I did my dissertation, as y'all know, on the moral idea in ancient Egypt of studying classical African ethics. And the reason I wanted to do that is because not only are we confronted with ethical issues in every area of life, but we are the people that stood up first and spoke that first spiritual and ethical truth, and we have the oldest text in there. And we must, as I'm going to demonstrate on the end as I close out, we must see ancient Egyptian culture, its texts, as a fundamental source for engaging modern moral, social, and issues. We have to speak our own special cultural truth. Diop asked, what does Africa have to say about the major issues confronting our world today? And we must study that, not Tut's nose. Excuse me if I'm wrong. And I'm not putting down. I'm going to say a little bit about Tut in a minute, but I'm going to pass to it. I'm not going to stay at it. And finally, Diop says the three basic goals: to recognize African and human history, to build a new body of human science,